Hey guys, welcome back to Frugality and Finance. Today I'm going to go over my investment portfolio. I had a question a couple videos ago about my stock portfolio, and while I don't technically invest in individual stocks, I thought it would be cool to show you guys what my overall investment portfolio is, because I tend to invest in index funds. So even though I didn't know too much about investing like a couple years ago, I learned a lot just from reading about it, watching finance YouTubers, and I definitely like the idea of automatically transferring money into an index fund that tracks the S&P 500, maybe an international index fund, and then just letting it do its thing. So I have two main investment accounts. My first account is my 401k, which I've had with my employer of like 6 years, so it's been open for a while now, where I contribute some Roth funds now, and my employer matches a certain percentage of that as traditional funds, so that's pre-tax. Then I have my Roth IRA, which is with Fidelity, and Fidelity's pretty cool because they have some 0% expense ratio funds, which means that they're not charging me for managing or operating those funds. And so basically all of my money goes towards investments and growth rather than paying them to manage the funds. Okay, let's take a look. So I currently have $37,614 in my 401k account. I have contributed $21,276 of that, and my employer has contributed $16,338. This year, I basically started contributing around 7.5% of my money, of my paycheck, towards this account. And whenever my employer contributes, I've set it up so that it automatically invests that money once it's in the account. Although I've changed the funds that I specifically invest in over the years, I've kind of settled on a handful of funds that work for me right now. The first one is the Vanguard Small Cap Growth Index Fund. The next one is an S&P 500 Tracking Index Fund, an International Equity Index Fund. And then we have two funds that each are like 5% of my total contributions, which are the Vanguard Growth Index Fund and the Vanguard Value Index Fund. So those are pretty small. I essentially tend to make around 60 to 80% of my contributions go into an S&P 500 tracking fund, and then about 20% of my total contributions go to some international index fund. So I like investing in both the domestic market and the international market, just because I think that makes sense, and I have read a little bit about that. It seems to be a pretty nice mix of investment funds. And in my 401k, there aren't any funds that are 0% expense ratios, so most of them are around a 0.05% expense ratio. Again, that's still very low, but the highest one is 0.17%. It's still not that high, so I'm not worried about it. Now, because I know that my 401k is essentially going to be the account that will have most of my retirement funds, compared to my Roth IRA at least, I think as I get older, I am going to transition some of these index funds and rebalance them into a target date fund. And if you don't know what a target date fund is, it's basically, again, a mix of stocks, an index fund that basically adjusts your investments closer to the date that you retire. So it goes from like much higher risk when you're younger, and then as you get closer to the date of your retirement, they invest in more conservative stocks. Most of your money then gets invested into bonds, so it's less likely that you'll lose your money closer to retirement, which is very important. So at some point I think I will do that, but for now I'm very comfortable with the risk associated with my current investments. All right, this is my Roth IRA that I have with Fidelity. I currently have $20,752 invested here. This is all my contribution. My employer does not contribute to my Roth IRA. It's all post-tax money. And like my 401k, I have invested in many different funds, but these are slightly different than the ones in my 401k account. There are only a few that I've decided to continually automatically invest in with every month that I send $582 towards my account. The first one is FNILX, which is a Fidelity, I don't know what it stands for, let's see. Fidelity Zero Large Cap Index Fund. So again, it's basically an S&P 500 tracking index fund or similar. And that's where I invest the majority of the money that I contribute every month. For example, I contribute $582 a month towards this account, and $466 of that money goes into this fund. So that is the majority of it. And then the next one, which is FZILX, is the Fidelity Zero International Index Fund. It's about 20% that I send. So I send like $100 every month towards this account of all the money that I send every month. And then last but not least, I send around $15 to FSRNX. And that's a Fidelity Real Estate Index Fund. This one has a very low expense ratio. I think it's 0.07, so I'm completely fine investing in that, and I just like the idea that I'm also, in a way, indirectly investing in real estate. But that, again, is only $15 of my $582 monthly contribution, so it's not that much. So 2 of these funds have a 0% expense ratio, and then this one is the highest at 0.07. So yeah, that's basically what I invest in every month. And I don't think I plan to change it at all anytime soon, but I would love to hear what you guys do with your investments. So if you wouldn't mind, please comment below what funds you automatically invest in every single month that you're comfortable with, that you want to continue investing in, and why. All right, thank you guys for watching.